Hey guys, so this is going to be part 2 of the tattoo series that I was doing. The first part was the questions from the tattoo tag video that kind of goes around YouTube, but this part will be me specifically talking about my tattoos and like their meaning and their pain and blah blah blah. So let's just get started. I'm warning you now, this is going to be a long video. I will try and make it as short as possible, but when I start to talk about my tattoos or really anything, I go on a ramble and I talk often and a lot. Often didn't make sense. So, my first tattoo is the dandelion on my shoulder. That was the first tattoo I got. I got it the summer after my freshman year in college. I came home because I lived on campus, so I had to come home for the summer. That was a very, very bad summer for me. It was probably the worst time in my entire life, that like 3 or so months. I was dating this guy. I started dating him after I graduated from high school that summer. We did the long distance thing while I was in college for my freshman year. It was only about 2 hours away, so we saw each other often, but it was still very hard. I had very bad anxiety. My anxiety developed basically the day that my dad dropped me off at college, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that it was anxiety, so I thought that there was something physically wrong with me, and it was a very stressful time to not know what was wrong with me. I was always sick, and I didn't want to go anywhere because I was afraid that I would get sick, and that would just, you know, it kind of snowballed and made my anxiety very, very bad. And the guy that I was with, I don't think that he really knew how to deal with that, and I don't think that he really knew what he was getting into when we started dating, because I didn't have that anxiety when we started dating. Nowhere near, it was nowhere near as bad as it was when I was at college. So I don't think that he knew how to deal with it, and I don't think that he really wanted to deal with it. Not in like a I don't want to deal with you type of way. Like, he wasn't mean about it at all. But I don't blame him. He didn't sign up for that, and he didn't want to deal with that. He was young, is young, we're still young. We're like in our mid to early 20s. He just didn't want to deal with it, and he got tired of it, and I don't blame him. So when I came home for the summer, that first week we broke up, and it was really hard, very hard. He was absolutely my first love. We broke up, and we were kind of on and off again for about a month or so, a month and a half maybe. I absolutely do not recommend that. That is the worst thing to do when you break up with someone. Just break up and leave it alone. So we were on and off, and I just went crazy. First of all, my anxiety, and my anxiety was bad already, and I had depression because of my anxiety, because I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and I was very upset about the whole thing, and my life was just not very good at that moment. And then adding that on top of it made it very bad. That was my first true heartbreak, the kind that makes you go crazy. It wasn't a very good relationship to begin with, because I was trying to change myself to appeal to what I knew he wanted, so I tried to change my religion and change my hobbies, and that just wasn't very good. And he never asked me to do any of that, ever. It was just something that I thought would have helped, and that was a mistake. So don't do that either. So I just would have done anything to get him back. I tried. And I will say with 100% certainty that I was absolutely the crazy ex-girlfriend. I fully admit that. Looking back on it now, I was out of my fucking mind. Like, I was nuts. And I am so sorry if you're watching this. I'm actually gonna tell him that I talked about this, so if you're watching this, I am so sorry for that. I was legitimately insane. And I'm laughing about it now, but It's really, I shouldn't be laughing about it. Anyways, so that was a very bad summer. I was starting to get thoughts that I didn't like, and it's not all to do with just the breakup. So when I say thoughts I don't like, I mean kind of like, it was those like, I don't really want to wake up tomorrow type thoughts. I never would have actually done that, and you'll see why later in the video, and by done that I mean suicide. I would have never actually done that, but I was having thoughts that I wanted to, and those thoughts were not at all because of the breakup. I think the breakup absolutely did not help at all, but I was just having, like I said, a hard time in general with my life, and the breakup just didn't help, and then that kind of spiraled into having those thoughts, and thankfully I had a clear enough head to where I went up to my dad, and I'm extremely close to my dad, so I knew that I could tell him absolutely anything and he would have helped me. And I've never hid anything from my dad, so I went up to him and I said, you know, I am very depressed and I need help. And I don't mean like a therapist help, even though therapy would have probably helped. But I said, I need something that's going to help fairly immediately, and then we can think about therapy later. But I said I need something to help right away, or else I could be in trouble. So we went to the doctor the next day, and I got put on an SSRI, which is a mild antidepressant, but it's also an anti-anxiety medicine, which actually is what led me to figure out that my stomach problems were actually anxiety, and there wasn't anything physically wrong with me as far as my stomach or my intestines go. So that was a good thing. Anyways, that leads to the tattoo. It is a dandelion blowing in the wind, and to me it just reminds me of, you know, a very happy scene, and a very being free, and not you know, not being tied down by anything, and just don't get too bogged down by life. And it's just a reminder to be free and not let anybody hurt you like that. And now I'm at a point in my life where I've realized that as much as I was hurting that summer, and as much as I thought no one would ever love me, and as bad as my life was, 2 years later, here I am in, well, 3 years later, here I am in a loving relationship with someone who is great, and puts up with my anxiety and knows how to deal with it and isn't scared away by it. Not to say anything negative about the guy that I was dating at the time. Some people just don't want to deal with it, and some people, you know, he just probably didn't love me enough to want to put up with that, and I completely understand that. If I was dating anybody other than Andy and they had that situation, I'd probably say, I don't want to deal with this. Sometimes you just don't love somebody enough to want to deal with that. That doesn't mean that you have to be mean, and he wasn't mean, but I guess it's one of those situations where you'd have to be in it to understand. Anyways, that is my first tattoo, 500 hours later. My second tattoo is on my foot. It is my Harry Potter tattoo. I absolutely love this tattoo. It is still my favorite. It is a replica of Harry's wand, and there is red and gold, like smoky magic kind of thing, like kind of like a spell coming out of it, and it says all was well with the lightning bolt afterwards. So it is the last 3 words of the Harry Potter series, the last 3 words of the last book, and I just love Harry Potter. My third tattoo is the side piece that is on my side. It is a big piece that goes from my bra line to my hip, basically just a little bit above where my pants start. It is a boy fishing off the moon, and before you say anything, I know it looks just like the DreamWorks logo. I didn't think about that, and to be honest, I don't care that it looks like that, because I thought of this myself, and then someone said, wow, that looks like the DreamWorks logo, and I said, oh, so it does, and I moved on with my life. So, basically this is the tribute to my cousin Brian. He committed suicide when I was in 10th grade. He was a couple years older than me. He had a very, very hard life. I'm not gonna get into details because I don't know the details. He didn't leave a note or anything, so no one will know 100% for sure why he did it. I just know that I loved him. I didn't get to see him as much as I would have liked to see him. He lived kind of far away, and he was young. He was really young. He had a very, very hard childhood. He had a very hard childhood, and he was on and off of drugs often, and so are a lot of people in my family, or so were, / are. So he just had a very bad life, and I will say that, and I will say that he is absolutely in a better place now, and I miss him. He loved fishing. He loved fishing. Like, he lived on the water. So I have a boy that is supposed to be him fishing off of a moon and looking down on us and all of our family and his friends. And in the clouds it says something's watching over me, like sweet serendipity. That is, those are lyrics from Lee DeWise's first single after he won American Idol. I didn't get it because they are Lee DeWise lyrics. I do like Lee DeWise, and I absolutely went through a period where I loved him. But that's not why I got them. Serendipity is the act of finding goodness, or the act of finding something when you're not looking for it, which is something that I absolutely believe in, and I love that, just that idea of when you're not looking for something, goodness will come to you. And I really think that Brian is watching down on us and helping us. And I also am a religious person, as you will see in a little while. I am religious. I don't talk about it often because I know how people feel about religion. Please don't comment below anything negative. I don't care what you believe in. If you don't believe in God, okay, alright, I don't care. And if you do believe in God, great, good for you. Still don't care. They're my beliefs, and I don't care what you say, it won't change it. So, and I'm sure you guys have seen my necklace in the videos. I wear Star of David every day, and I haven't taken it off in like 5 years since I got it, so regardless. The something's watching over me, like sweet serendipity, also implies that God is watching over me at all times, and I believe that. So it's a very meaningful tattoo for me. My fourth tattoo is the tattoo that I would get covered up. It is the Star Trek tattoo. I was a microbiology major in college for the first few years, and I really struggled through it. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought I would have. I really enjoyed biology in high school and middle school, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I was struggling through the classes. They just were not something I enjoyed anymore. I hated going to class. And I kept telling myself, you know, just because the classes are hard, you have to take some classes you don't like in order to get the classes that you do like, and blah blah blah. And I kept making excuses, and I kept saying I would change my major and then I would go back to biology. So I got this tattoo to kind of, it's the science division badge for the USS Enterprise for Star Trek. And I got it to kind of remind myself of my love for biology and science, and to remind myself to be the best in my field. Then I took a internship where I worked in a lab, and I was like, no, fuck this. And I changed my major the next semester, and now I'm doing economics, and I love every second of every class that I've taken related to economics. So, and no, I'm not gonna get like a supply and demand graph tattooed on me. That would be ridiculous. My fifth tattoo is a quote on my ribcage. This was absolutely the most painful one that I got. It is a quote from a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, and before anybody says anything, no, I'm not really a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan. I don't dislike them, I don't like them, they're okay, I don't mind them, but I'm not like a hardcore Lynyrd Skynyrd fan. But I do love, love, love the song Simple Man by them. It is one of my favorite songs of all time. And my dad, and by now I'm sure you guys know I'm very, very close to my dad. I love my dad more than anybody in the entire world. And he used to sing Simple Man on the guitar all the time, and I remember countless nights laying in bed trying to fall asleep and hearing him play it on the guitar and sing it, you know, in the living room or whatever, and he also played it in front of me also. So I got the quote Take your time, don't live too fast, troubles will come and they will pass. It is from the song. It is a very good quote for me. I absolutely 99% of the time am living in the future. I'm always like, oh, I can't wait till Sunday. I can't wait till next week. I can't wait till I graduate. Can't wait till I move. I have a very, very hard time living in the present. And if there is a problem going on, if I'm having some kind of problem that I'm trying to work through, I get very stressed about it. Very stressed. Even though I look back on all the problems that I've had in my prior years, months, weeks, whatever, and I think, oh, I got through that just fine. Remember how stressed out I was about it? And look, here I am now, fine. No matter how many times I tell myself that, I will absolutely still stress about something. My last tattoo is my most recent tattoo. It's on my wrist, and it is the Hebrew word for Hesed. I can't pronounce it very well. I don't speak Hebrew. Sorry. There are a ton of meanings behind this specific word. I've read 10 pages long essays that say different meanings behind it. I worked with my Judaic Studies professor to design this tattoo. I asked him, I said, I want to get a tattoo. I want it to be in Hebrew. I want this meaning, this meaning, this meaning. What word can I use? He gave me this word. I researched it on my own, and I said, perfect. Basically, in a very, very rough translation, it means loving and kindness. And it also, for me, the specific meaning that I really loved when I read it, I said, yes, that is the tattoo that I want to get. It is a representation of the covenant between man and God in the Jewish religion, where basically I do my part of the covenant and I act like a good person, I live as a good person, I fulfill, you know, everything that I'm supposed to do and basically just be a good person and follow my religion, and he will take care of me, is basically very, very rough translation of it. But I love this tattoo. This is absolutely my most meaningful tattoo, and it's there every day as a reminder to be a good person, do the best that I can, follow my religion. I love my religion, and just be a good person is basically the fundamentals of Judaism. So I love it. So that's all my tattoos. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will absolutely do an updated version when I get more tattoos, but that will be a little while from now. So post a video response down below with your tattoos. I love watching these videos, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.